Alright folks, welcome back to my channel. I have the softest touch. Alright, let's get let's get right to how they say the meat and gravy of the thing. Alright. We have to be mindful, and I mean mindful. Everything is playing out. Every last thing is playing out. Is all a part of a strategic plan. Not just biblically and spiritually, but just of this land. And we have to understand that this is a good versus evil thing. So you're either going to be on one side or you're going to be on another side. Even with the protesting. And I'm not saying don't protest. I'm saying do it. Do it. But you have to make sure that when you're doing it, whose side that you're actually on. Because you can believe that you're on the side of righteousness, but your actions is saying that you on the other side of this. And the reason why I'm bringing this in is because time is winding down, folks. It is winding down. And if you don't see it, I hope you see it soon. So I'm just going to do like a 3-point thing here. 1, let's deal with the coronavirus, Mr. Floyd's murder, and celebrities, or celebrity. Let's go that way. Celebrity. COVID. If you take the time to look it up, you will see everything that's playing out, as I said before in another video, is right in the name. Novel coronavirus has been shortened down to COVID-19, which is a pandemic and has definitely caused pandemonium. Okay? So, novel coronavirus, COVID-19, pandemic, pandemonium. You know what that is. So let's just break it down biblically, spiritually. We're using science, we're using numerology and all these other different things. Right? Okay. Novel. It means new one. Corona means crown. Virus means venom. So, when you look at the enemy, Lucifer, who's now called Satan because of his puffed up into disobedience and trying to take over God's own reign, he was considered the evil one. He has since changed his name, folks, and his name is in the virus. Now, he has used man as his peons to push this and make things go every which way they're going, as with the other 2 topics, because man's greed of money and power has surpassed all understanding, because some people's idea of it is so far gone that they might not even be able to make it back. But nonetheless, novel coronavirus, new one, crown, with venom or venomous. That's what we got there. COVID-19. COVID means a part of the body resembling or likened to a crown, which is your head. 19, numerology means a completion of a thing. Separate the 2, 1 and 9. 1 means beginning, 9 means an ending. But when you bring it back together, you get 10. 1 is 0, brings you back to 1. 1 is completion, or in other words, actually it's the same as completion. But you also now have father and you have son. Okay. Now, let's move on. Pandemic. Pan and pandemic. Pan means all. Demic means a particular, a group of people with a particular language likened to a religious or social group. So we're talking about believers. Okay. Now, we get into a pandemonium. A pandemonium, again, pan And actually, pan and pandemonium means a place where demons dwell. That's the original Latin meaning for pan. And then you got demonium, and I forgot what that was. Hold on. Let me pull it up to make sure I got it right. Let me make sure I got it right, because I don't, where did I put that at? Because this was something new that was added on to what I have learned. So that is, excuse me, wild uproar or unresisted disorder, chaos. Okay? And it's dealing with riots, uproar, utter chaos. So, when we're looking at demonium, we're looking at an uproar, unrestrained disorder. Okay? So, when you put them together, novel coronavirus, novel coronavirus is COVID-19, which is a pandemic that has caused a pandemonium. But then when you put the meanings of it all in one place, what do you get? A new one, crowned, venomous, head of beginning and end, of the Father and Son, and all of God's people, believers, in a place where demons dwell, where there is uproar and unrestrained disorder, riots, chaos. That's where we're at. That's where we're at in that. Now, let's get over to Mr. Floyd. Now, everybody know what happened with that, so there's no reason to get into the details. But I just wanted to make this clear. The guy, the police officer who murdered him, the police officers who murdered him, 3 of them had a demonic possession at the time, and 1 of them was a full-fledged demon. And that is the police officer who had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck and lungs in order to make the blood stop flowing and the air stop flowing, which murdered him. And the reason how you can tell that is you watch the demeanor. The human body has nerve endings, impulses, reactions. And the whole time he had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck, he never changed his demeanor, his posture. Even when people was yelling things at him, he never looked concerned, worried, doubtful, doubtful, or even remorseful. Never changed. And watched him eye to eye as he took his last breath. Eye to eye. Then he gets up and walks around, and again, no change in demeanor, posture, reaction, nothing. A lot of people out here, some just don't have mental issues. And some of them appear to have mental issues because of the possession of the demonic spirit that's on them. But some people have allowed themselves, because of their bitter, their anger, their greed, and other things, to be able to be fully taken over. And a demonic spirit can operate in full operation without restrictions. And that's what happened. And the only other thing I want to say to that is a lot of people making fun of it, doing this challenge and mocking it. And unfortunately, because of the history, it's expected from non-African American people. Right? Shouldn't be. So I'm not going to touch those. But what I will touch is one person in particular, Miss Candace Owens. Now, I watch most of what she had to say. I watch reactions to it. And I find it interesting, and I'm going to tell you what my comment was to that. I posted something because I said, let me do a little bit more research. So I found that she was being harassed and tormented, called names and nigger and monkey and some more things when she was in college. I mean high school. I think it was high school. Last year high school, I believe it was. And she sued the school. Father and everybody got a lawyer, sued the school. They settled out. She returned 6 weeks later. It said that she got arrested October, I believe of that same year, or well, it says October. So this thing was posted. Let me make sure I got this right. It was posted in 2008. So 2008, she both got arrested for harassment. Now it's interesting. I did some more digging, couldn't find any more detail on that. So I'm going to say that it was alleged that she got arrested, since I couldn't find it. Any more information on it. Doesn't say it didn't happen. However, after all that happened, she created a website called socialautopsy.com. And she did so for the reason of putting people who harass people on blast. You know, you find somebody with a rude, disparaging, or something kind of comment, you bring it over to that page, they log it. So if I decide I meet somebody, I want to know, have they put anything on social media that's rude, ignorant, disrespectful, arrogant, or anything, I can go to her site, and I'm supposed to be able to pick it up. Now, she got a lot of backlash. I don't think it ever got really kicked off. But then there were some folks on the Donald Trump side that felt that she had it together. And soon, it seemed like as she got a little prestige and a little pocket change, she changed. She no longer thinks racism is a problem, harassment, people being harassed and singled out. Interesting. So my comment was this. It appears Candace Owens broke up with racism some time ago and have been bitter ever since. And now she has an intense, intimate, emotional love affair with her side due ignorance. Because the female, regardless to how well she speaks, how well she appears poised, she is definitely misinformed. She does not have enough knowledge and information to make the statements she makes, but she's making them. So I could tell that it's coming from a very upsetting place. Now, it's sad that we have been taught, this is a taught thing, we have been taught to fight amongst ourselves. Because the fight elsewhere will be deadly. But this time around, with everything that's happened and build up, people just getting fed up and tired, so that no longer applies. So let's get over to the people with celebrity, because that's where she ties into that. But this is another side of it. There are celebrities who are coming out the woodworks, donating money here, donating money there, donating money. And everybody, oh my goodness, so-and-so gave $100,000, so-and-so gave $88,000, so-and-so gave $50,000, so-and-so gave $50. It's just so much going on, right? But that don't impress me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because each person who gave that money that everybody's all excited about are millionaires, right? Or billionaires. you guys remember, but this president, Trump, he had passed a law when he got in. He changed the dynamics of the taxes. So each one of these individuals who are donating, I was eating salad. For some reason, I still had a piece of lettuce. Nonetheless, they don't pay taxes. Not one penny in taxes. However, they're getting millions of dollars in returns, while everybody else is paying taxes. Now, people who have been doing it all along, behind the scenes, or haven't they been doing it? Cool. It's just business as usual. But all these newcomers and all of these people that want to speak out. Now, don't get me wrong. People have the right to be angry. They got the right to be upset, frustrated, aggravated, the whole nine. But when it comes to certain people, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And I don't have to call out anybody that's not of our complexion, our hue, culture. I don't have to do that because we already know what that's about. But the ones in our community that haven't done anything or constantly do one thing and do another. Jordan. Tennis was supposed to come out later in May, but stimulus checks came out. What happened? He pushed his release early. But now he want to donate a whole bunch of money. They ain't coming out to nothing. Ain't speaking up on nothing. Ain't saying a word, just throwing money. And we got old Mr. Jay-Z. Mr. We don't need to take a knee no more. Oh, now he wanted to head some stuff. Now all of the stuff that's going on is okay. That's warranted. But when Kapner was doing his thing, so he was with him, then it was a chance to get his pockets fatter. We don't need to do that no more. I'm trying to get my pockets fatter. Man, stop that. And now here he come back out now that his pocket is back fatter. Then we got old Mr. Kevin Hart. How in Lord, excuse me, I was about to curse. Was the H word, but still. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm a firm believer of, again, we have the right to any emotion that initially comes to us when tragic or injustice or anything happen. I do human rights work. So I know we have the right to our emotions, our feelings, our reactions, initial ones. However, when we speak out, we need to make sure that we're free and clear of that we're speaking out against. And here is a dude, by the information that we received, and we saw, and we heard about, left 2 people in his car, basically for dead. No, I ain't gonna say basically, left him for dead. His people, bodyguards, whoever, took him out of his car, out of that mangled car, up that hill. And the first thing he says is, who the hell is this? When he see a guy standing there who had called the police because he seen the accident, he see what happened. He's so busy worrying about who saw him. They take him on to his little plush little estate. 2 people still down in the car. They didn't wait for ambulance. They didn't call the police. They didn't call 911. They didn't do nothing. Till hours later. But they didn't call for the people in the car. Oh, we forgot about them. No, they called because his back was so messed up that it wasn't going to heal on his own. So they had no choice but to call. So yeah, he had the right, like the rest of them had the right to be upset. But who you guys to speak on anything? Who are you to speak on anything? And this what makes our culture worse. Everybody don't need to speak out. Mainly if you're not free and clear of the same offense. This man had his knee on this man's neck and murdered him and watched him lose life. You get out of a car and leave 2 people in it. Didn't care if they lost life or not. So that's bothersome, and people don't understand when you still have a certain spirit within you and you speak, whatever's in your spirit comes through in which that of which you're speaking. So that's why we have to be mindful. If I got some areas in my life I need to work on, I'm not going to be out here talking about it as if I don't, because the spirit that I have is going to pass through. Why do you think that when you have people in organizations or head of congregations and they going through stuff, and next thing you know, the members in their church are finding themselves going through the same thing? The members of that organization find themselves going through the same thing because that spirit is moving. The spirit is moving. Pay close attention to these guys. I wish I had myself set up already so I could show you these pictures that I have taken of what's going on in these skies. Y'all, look at the sky. Look how low these clouds are sitting. Heaven is descending, folk. We ain't got much time. Heaven is descending. Look at the formations of the cloud. You ever notice over the last few weeks, actually a little bit longer, but more intensely over the last few weeks, how the sky's looking more like the ocean? And not the sky, but the ocean. How all of a sudden you see all of the waves curving. All of the clouds can be curving like waves. Have you noticed that? Have you ever noticed at night the moon is enlarged? And it's always this one star that's bigger now. You don't see nothing else in the sky but this one speck, and then there's one star that sits out bigger than it ever has before. If y'all look up, look around. Look at trees. You got half trees dying, half of the tree growing. Don't even know what to do with this crazy climate. We need to pay attention to what's going on and how we're reacting to things. Yes, we have all right to be upset and angry and frustrated and all of these things. But we have to make sure that once we have passed that initial rah, that we change that rah into more something constructive. When you're out there and you're hollering and screaming over each other, who's being heard? March, definitely speak up, definitely. But do it in unison. Do it in unison. One thing I can say about the young dude, the 85 South guy, DC Young Fly. He made a good point when he was talking about the same scenario. You got all these people out there, have a spokesperson, then have another person to speak. And when they have another person to speak, so everybody gets heard. Nobody's talking over each other, so nothing gets drowned out. Show some order, show more order. Show more order. I'm talking about what's going on is phenomenal because it's all over the world. It's all over the world. And unfortunately, we do have to have some unrest. We do have to have some of the stuff that's happening to get the attention. Unfortunately. I'm saying we have to. Spiritually, I'm not going to say we have to. But by earth standards, thank you. By earth standards, that's just part of, unfortunately, what's going to have to happen. So, again, pay attention to what's being said. Pay attention to who's saying it. And look at all of the things that's happened. Because this is another thing that they're trying to hide. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for reminding me. That 5G bit. They claim that it's not, ain't nothing wrong with it. It don't have nothing to do with this COVID. No, it ain't even dangerous. Well, let me say this. I spent over 300 hours studying everything connected to this COVID thing, in which I explained and broke it down, and some more stuff, which I got in some other videos. And this was led by God. This was led by the Holy Spirit. This was led by the heavens. And I've made it clear that if it's not directly connected, it's indirectly connected. Because when radio waves first came out, what happened? You had a virus hit. When 3G first came out, what happened? You had a virus hit. Now we're at the 5G stage. The CDC is not able to say that the 5G networks are safe, nor the 4, nor the 3. And the 5 is working 5 times, slated to work 10 times as more powerful as that. And I also, I can't wait till I get some other equipment. That's the only thing happen when you do human rights work on your own, meaning that I got people, we all work together, but we all out of pocket, our own pockets. And that's why things, you can't get things the way you want to, because I would love to let y'all see this one picture that I have posted on my Facebook page of the towers being hitting within a tree. Now, it's not the fact that it was placed there behind some leaves. They created something that looked like the same leaves on it and wrapped it around the towers to hide it. And this up in Pennsylvania. So where else have they done it? And why are they hiding it? What was the point of hiding it? What was the point? And it sprays radiation. Not the same as an X-ray, but it sprays radiation. So if you notice that in some areas, when you go further out, they're sitting up real high. But the closer you get to certain areas, inner city areas, they're sitting awfully low. Very low. Like you can climb up on a pole and pull yourself up a few times and touch it low. There's a lot going on, people, and they're hiding a lot of information. Trying to distract us from a lot of other stuff that's going on. Just like they was trying not to, this RuPaul guy, was it RuPaul? Or Ron Paul, whatever his daggone name is, tried to not pass a lynching bill. Trying to say, and this is the same day as Floyd's funeral. Trying to say that if somebody hang you, and you get all twisted up, bruised up and cut, but you don't die, that shouldn't be considered a hate crime. What kind of nonsense is that? I'm hanging from a tree. I barely escaped with my life. I'm all messed up, cut up, bruised up, and all of that. But they can't be charged because I didn't die. And I think they're trying to use the same concept, which they believe is in the Bible, but it's not. Because if you look in the Bible, excuse me, the enemy is, okay, no, I ain't gonna say the enemy because I'm just gonna say the energy of myself moved that, because the enemy is definitely not in here. And sorry, I'm looking at this thing, my head is oily. But nonetheless, like I said, and that's not what it means. So when it talks about it mainly in the first Testament, it definitely, God had a provision at the beginning that if the slaves, because in mind it was servitude when you looked at the beginning. I'll own you, you owe me, you toy, and wipe off your debt. Right? So, but God put provision in place that to make sure, to ensure that if slaves are hurt, they'll be set free, and some more things. So nonetheless, I went into that in another video. I don't know if I posted it yet or not, but it goes really in detail of everything about it, because people seem to believe that God created the slavery, which that was not true. So nonetheless, I think he's trying to take that from that, but that's not what God says. So my thing is, if he's trying to take that from that, if they don't be held as a hate crime, then what punishment do they get? Because there should be some punishment, severe punishment. So, and punishment that can hurt their livelihood, as it states in the Bible. So, nonetheless, I just want to put that out there because I just feel like we heading in so many different directions, and we really all need to be on one accord. And for those who say we need to separate ourselves, whites this and blacks that, trying to separate it, even Miss Harriet Tubman, as powerful and as great as she was, freeing as many slaves as she did, a woman now, right? She had some help by some white folks. Let's keep that in mind. There's no way we can survive on this earth, any group of people by themselves. Not one. That's why one took advantage of another. Took advantage of another. They took advantage of them. They took advantage of them. Instead of just working together. Alright, so again, just be mindful of your motives, your personal motives, and your actions. Because it's going to determine what side you're really on. So if you're out, even if you're out here, you're fighting. Even if you're out here fighting and standing and marching and taking the tear gas and taking the rubber bullets and anything, God forbids, anything other else happens. Even with that, that don't have to happen no more. But if it does, just know that your true intentions, then and when you walk from that marching ground, your real intentions on what you do and your actions is going to determine what side of the battle you're really on, good or evil. And remember, folks, when this sky cracks, and it will crack, and when Jesus make that return, and everything is let loose, everything, because there's some things around this world that y'all don't even understand that's being held in grates under this earth. And when it happens, you might not have time to get it right because your mind will be so scrambled and so in awe or shock or terror that you might not have time to say, God, humbly say, God, forgive me for everything. And it might be too late if you do. So just be mindful, folks. Just be mindful. If you are not free and clear of that which you are protesting against, which means that in some way, form, or fashion in your life, you have taken part or are taking part in that which you are protesting against, even if it's the same but just looks differently, but it's the same. Have your emotions, have your feelings, have your talk within your group, but guess what? Do not boast it out here in this public and have all of that spirit come through with it, because all you're doing is releasing those spirits and those energy onto other people. We have to be mindful. We have to do better. I love y'all. And this is a great thing around the world. And again, this year, and I don't know if I mentioned that first, but this year, God has set to be, several things, but three major things. The concept of karma, supposed to be, I can't think of the right word, supposed to be profound. That's not the word I want to use, but that's the word I'm grabbing. Universal love supposed to take place. And forgiveness for every error, not just sin, but every error of mankind. These three things supposed to take place this year. And look at your own life individually, as well as your household collectively, and even in your circle. Are these things taking place? And am I doing anything, or are we doing anything that could prevent these things from taking place? All right, y'all. Do what you got to do. I hope I see y'all on the other end when it's all said and done. All right? All right, bye-bye.